Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I wanted to sit down with you and do a first impressions. So here recently I did pick up the Covergirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. I picked mine up in the lightest shade 510 Porcelain. I know that this is not a brand new product, but it is newer and it's certainly new to me. So I kind of wanted to just sit down, put it on my face with you guys for the first time, kind of see what I thought of the formula and kind of my overall first impression of this product. Now, I will say that for me, I do tend to prefer lighter coverage foundations. So this guy is seemingly up my alley. It claims to be a vegan and It claims to be vegan and formulated without talc, parabens, formaldehyde, phthalates, mineral oil, sulfates, and fragrance. All of those things are good in my opinion because I do have quite sensitive skin. I also saw something recently, probably on Facebook, so always take that with a grain of salt, but about how parabens can affect not just pregnant women, but also their unborn, child, in my case, children. So the lack of parabens in here, I definitely like, although at 7.5 months pregnant, I think that ship has sailed, but still, I feel like it's a good thing. It says that it blurs imperfections, evens out skin tone, that it is a sheer buildable coverage, instant and all-day hydration. All of those things that I look for in a formula. So we are already zoomed in nice and tight here. I'm going to go ahead and pull back my hair, go ahead and put on just my regular skincare, sunscreen, all that kind of good stuff. And then I'll be right back and we'll go ahead and we'll see what we think. All right, here we are back. I have applied all of my skincare, my sunscreen. I did put on a little bit of primer. I'm using the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. And a couple of things about this guy here. It only has 14 shades in the range, at least that's as many as I could find. So not great in that regard. It does come with 1 fluid ounce, which is pretty standard for a foundation. And I picked mine up at my local Target for $9.99. So it does have kind of a squeezy tube packaging, which I'm totally fine with. And I'm just going to go ahead and start dotting it around my face. Not really sure how much to... It smells slightly floral, which is weird for something having no fragrance. Alright, that looks like a good place to kind of start. And then I'm only using a brush. I'm going to be using my It Cosmetics foundation brush. I don't know if this has a number on it or not, but it's what I use every day for my foundation. Yeah, this has a lot of scent, which is not expected. And this is definitely sheer. Now, I always use a brush for my foundation. I really like this one from It Cosmetics because I don't find that it soaks up a lot of product. I don't hardly ever use a sponge because in the mornings I am lazy and it's early and I don't want to mess around with getting my sponge and getting it wet and possibly waking the child. And this is what one layer of the foundation looks like. My skin still looks exactly like my skin. Now, I do notice that I have less redness. That's one of the things that I really use foundation for, is to even out my skin tone. And I do see that it has done that. However, you're still able to very clearly see all of my sun damage underneath my eyes, as well as those big, beautiful bags. All of my freckles are still showing through. So I think I am going to add just a little bit more on my cheeks where I do have that sun damage, and on my forehead just a little bit, and see just how buildable we are. My nose is still quite red, but that doesn't surprise me because it's always quite red. Go ahead and see if we can't build that guy up. All right, it does seem to be layering nicely. It isn't picking up on itself. It's not bunching or acting weirdly, which is good. Because, you know, sometimes that happens. So let's take a closer look at... It does look nice. For me, it is the kind of foundation, again, that I prefer as far as coverage goes. I don't love it on my nose. Yeah, I don't love it on my nose, to be very, very honest with you. But on the rest of my face, it does look nice. Almost kind of like powdery. And not in like a bad way, but just... I don't know, like a soft powder finish, I guess. It still feels slightly tacky where I layered it up, but that doesn't terribly surprise me. Well, no, I guess it still feels... We'll give it just a few minutes, see if it dries down or if this is one... I typically powder anyway, but if you would necessarily have to powder, if that makes sense. So let's give it a minute and I'll be back and we'll see. All right, so it's been a couple minutes and it still doesn't feel completely set. It doesn't feel like it's transferring by any means, but definitely I can still feel a slight bit of tackiness to it. So while I was waiting to see if it would dry down, I was really kind of debating whether or not I wanted to do a full face or if I really wanted to just kind of see how the foundation wears. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to powder. I'm going to apply some very light bronzer, blush, highlight, just a little bit of eye makeup, just go really, really soft with my makeup today to see how that kind of looks. And then as I continue to try it, adding things, you know, that are, you know, more full coverage, like my concealer and all that kind of stuff. So I do like the way that it looks so far. I think that it did, sorry, my mirror's right here. I think it did a really nice job of evening out my skin tone, really playing down the natural redness that I have in my cheeks. Again, I don't love the way it looks on my nose, but to be honest with you, I don't like the way many foundations look on my nose. My nose is just weird. It's dry and doesn't hold foundation well, and it's probably my biggest problem area, but I do think that overall, ooh, you do not need to see that dirty, dirty mirror. Oh gosh. But I do think overall, I do like the way that this looks. This seems to me like it would be really good for one of those very, very minimal makeup days, which are going to be abundant in my future. So yeah, so far so good. I did notice that even though it does have a scent when I put it on, it dissipated very quickly. I don't continue to smell it or anything like that. I just found it a little bit surprising that there would be any scent at all, since it's supposed to be made without any kind of fragrance. So I don't know. But yes, okay, so I'm going to go ahead, apply just a little bit of makeup, and then we'll take it from there. Alright, so here we are back with the final look, and I have to say overall I'm quite pleased with the way that this turned out. It is a very light, very easy sort of look, but I think that my skin looks really, really nice. So I did set it with just a very small amount of my Fenty Pro Filter powder, which is right here. You know, I love this. Added just a little bit of bronzer. I added my Marc Jacobs Tantastic, as well as my Milani Luminoso blush, and then ColourPop Fire on top as my highlighter. I kept everything just with a very, very light hand. Put a little bit of bronzer in the crease, put just a little bit of shiny, reflective, skin-colored pigment on my eyes, and mascara, and oh, and of course lipstick. This is Joyride from Huda Beauty. And again, I really like the way that this came out overall. So I'm really interested to see how this wears throughout the day. It is already 1:30 in the afternoon. As you guys know, I do film on the weekends in the afternoon when the baby is sleeping. He's not sleeping, by the way. But we do have a bunch of errands to run today. We have to go to Sam's. We'll probably get some dinner while we're out, get my oil changed, just a whole bunch of stuff. So ideally, I would like to come back this evening and update you on the wear time. I just don't know if that's going to be possible, but I will make sure to check in tomorrow and let you know how I feel about how it wore throughout the day. If I can remember, I will try to take some pictures while I'm out. That way, if I'm not able to film anything when I get home in the evening, then at least you might be able to kind of see how it's looking throughout the day. So at the moment, I really like the way that it looks, and I'm really hoping that I still feel this way a few hours from now. Alright, so here we are back again, day number 2, wearing my Covergirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. And I have to say that overall, I do like this foundation. Again, this is only my second time wearing it. You've seen the clip from when I wore it yesterday. I ended up getting back, as expected, later than I wanted to, so I really wasn't able to film anything. I did try to take a couple of pictures. We'll see how well they turned out. But overall, I did enjoy wearing this particular foundation. I noticed that when I put it on today, I barely even noticed the scent. So I do think that unless you're very sensitive to fragrances, it's not a deal breaker. It's not an overwhelming scent, in my opinion, at least. I do like the way that it looks very, very skin-like. However, as I said before, I am someone who does typically gravitate towards lighter coverage foundations. If you like really anything that's medium or more, you're probably not going to be happy with this foundation. It is definitely sheer and can be built up to maybe light. I still think that's a little bit of a stretch, but even today, I've only got the one layer on. I do have a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes just because I knew I was going to be wearing a heavier look today. I paired it with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and I did not like that combination. I think that the ColourPop was just much too dry and more full coverage than what I think this kind of foundation needs. So I'm going to have to kind of play around and see what concealer pairs well. I will also say that I still don't like the way that it looks on my nose. Again, that's something I struggle with on a lot of foundations, but I don't like the way it looks on my nose. With that being said, I think that this is going to come in real handy for me for those minimal makeup days. And I will have a lot of them coming up in my future. So I am glad that I have it. I was super annoyed to see that there was a $3 coupon this week at Target after I already purchased it at full price. Anyway, sorry. But I do think that it's going to be a great sort of transition after I get through the foundation that I'm currently panning in my year-long project pan. So again, I am glad that I have it. I will continue to use it, and certainly I will update you with my thoughts as I continue to use it more and more. But based on first impressions, for me, I do like it. Have you tried this foundation? If you have, I would love to know kind of what your thoughts are on it and what you typically gravitate towards when looking at foundations. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.